Welcome to Teen Talk New York. I'm your host, Marritina, and today's guest is Mr. Urban Wall Street. We're here to talk about a serious issue, as always. We're going to talk about the pros and cons to peer pressure.
Good morning, Marritina. How are you?
Good morning.
Good. So, again, I'm very impressed with your topic of choice, peer pressure, and the pros and cons specifically, because a lot of times individuals think peer pressure is primarily just negative. But
right.
Of course, it can be positive as well. So let's talk about it. We can talk about some of course, the negative elements first. Let's get the bad out the way and how that can influence us. And then we'll talk about, the good types of peer pressure. So in your opinion, what's some of the top negative peer pressures you've encountered as a teen, or you think teens encounter?
I think, the top negative one is drugs, A lot of kids try and, influence other kids to do drugs or whatnot, or, just get into bad things. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, so think about it. So you like that topic, peer pressure. Why did you want to talk about peer pressure?
I want to talk about peer pressure because, as a young girl, I'd always have friends trying to tell me to go here and go there, and I'd always get in trouble, and I probably should have not went with them to go to the beach or to go to the store, whatever the case may be, and it was peer pressure. Oh, come on, don't be a little baby,
Mm-hmm.
So I figured, since I'm older and I'm thinking about the topic and I've already been through it, why not bring it back up and let's discuss it?
Okay. So peer pressure. We have drugs. Why do you think young people are so susceptible to just fall into peer pressure and follow the wrong thing, even though we know it's the wrong thing? Why do we still follow?
I think it's like acceptance. I think it's also trying to fit in, because as a kid, this is your friends. You don't want nobody talking bad about you. It's always just trying to see where you fit in. See if they're gonna like you because if you do this or do that, it's just acceptance, really.
Right, acceptance, and that's a very, very serious issue, because we all want to be accepted, by our peers primarily, but with that is a great responsibility. So when individuals know, I can get in trouble for this, maybe something light, school-wise, or even something a little bit more serious. I can go to jail. A lot of times you said with drugs. We all know that, selling drugs, doing drugs can pretty much cause you to either have a rough life or definitely send you to jail. But so many young people are still inclined and they're swayed by their friends. Why do you think individuals promote peer pressure? Because there's always somebody that's the receiving end, right? The sender, the person that's initiating the peer pressure. What do you think about that person who's initiating the peer pressure?
I think, honestly, this is really crazy. This is hard. I think they just want somebody there with them to do it. They want somebody to know, if I go down, they're going to go down with me. It's probably, I don't really know what to really say, but they probably just yo, come on, why not do it with me, What you going to do? Do it, and not going to say you never want to do it again. Or let's just do it once. Let's try it. It's probably, I don't know. They probably just want another person. I don't know.
Well, let's think about this peer pressure. You can go online right now and you can turn on World Star or Facebook and you see fights. You just always see us young, African American girls, males. We're fighting. We rarely do we see some positive imagery, but we're always so quick to promote and share and big up the negative. Why do you think fighting and the peer pressure, the push to engage people in fighting, or to pressure young people into fighting, or pressuring them into behavior that would result in conflict, why do you think that is so?
I think it's more of a show. I think people like seeing action, or people want to see something exciting happening. That's really what drives some of our young people. So seeing that is oh my gosh, oh no, everybody gets excited for that. I don't know why, but I'm not gonna lie. I run when I see a fight. I'm like, oh, what's up?
Okay, so pause. You're not gonna lie, and I appreciate the honesty, because that's what it's about. The honest communication between the young and the old. When you see a fight, now a lot of things can happen in a crowded fight. A gun could go off, right? An external fight can begin. So what is it about the fight that draws you in. This is a negative situation. These are two people that are about to cause harm to one another. What is it about that fact that pulls you? What pressure is that pulling you in to see that?
You know, like I said, excitement. And then I want to know if I know the person. You know, every time I see a fight, I just want to know if I know them or not, you know, honestly. Because if I see someone, I'm like, oh, snap, it's a fight going down. And I honestly run to it just to see if I know who it is. I'm like, oh, hey. And then sometimes I don't want to be the one to stop it because I might get hurt in the process. But I'll just be like, oh, chill. Like, you know, I really don't promote violence. I'm not the type to really fight. I like to talk it out before anything. I don't really feel as if harm or any type of violence is really necessary unless, you know, something really comes to an altercation. Like, that's different. But other than that, I don't really know.
So let's talk about this peer pressure. School academics. So many individuals in schools, whether it's research in high school, middle schools, in high schools in general, especially in our communities, we don't want to go to school, or we don't mind coming to school, but we don't want to do what school requires. We don't want to do the work. We want come to school to be seen or to be heard. But at the end of the day, we all want to make money. So I'm trying to understand, why are there not the peer pressure? If you want to make money in your future, how do you feel you can come to school, not prepare, not do the work, but then look for rewards at the end of the day? So my question is, so many individuals are like, yo, cut class with me. Again, you said that because people don't want to be alone, but you're not gonna really go down for cutting class. So why do you feel if someone wants to cut class, why do they want to bring other people down? I'm going to engage in behavior that's not beneficial to me. I got my own reasons. Why do I want to bring this person to that same type of negativity? Because ultimately, when we grow up, we're not going to be together. You know, you have your life, I have my life. But my actions and what I want to do will long-term affect you. Why do you think we promote this amongst each other as teens? You know, I mean, I'm not going to front. I remember days I didn't always go to class in high school. I cut a few times. I didn't necessarily pressure somebody else. But why do you think we do that? Because it happens a lot, right?
That's a good question. Another thing, like I said before, they want somebody with them, you know. They didn't want to be alone. They want somebody, you know, maybe this person, I know this person will do that if I told him to. Like, oh, I know if I asked Bobby, you know, to come with me, he definitely will. Like, he's a sucker for anything. Like, they'll use that, like, if they know your weaknesses or they know how strong you are, like strong-minded, they're not going to really ask you. But if they know you're weak-minded, then they'll try and manipulate you and try to like come with them.
So would you say that in peer pressure there's an element of bullying in peer pressure, would you say?
It really is. That's why, you know, you have to just know, like in any situation, you have to be strong-minded. No matter what is around, you know, your surroundings, just know that, just listen to your mind and that will carry you through. You can't listen to other people, because if you listen to other people, that's just going to make you weak. They're going to know how weak you are if you let them get to you. That's why, you know, a lot of girls and guys, you know, they just go crazy with all these rumors and all the picking on and all that. And they just realize, like, man, I'm not alone, you know. But you yourself have to be strong-minded to know I'm not that. So no matter what they're calling me or what they're saying about me, I know who I am, and other people know who I am. And if they don't, they will, and they'll see. It's just all about enough talking and more showing.
I like that, right? Don't tell me, show me.
Facts.
So let's talk about peer pressure. Now, there's different peer pressures for boys, and then there's other peer pressures for girls.
Girls, obviously.
So you're a young lady. Let's talk about, you know, some of the negative peer pressures that girls deal with.
Girls deal with a lot of peer pressure, you know, trying to look pretty, trying to be, you know, this perfect image in guys' minds, and sex, all of that. Like, you know, it's a very sexist kind of trademark. Like, you know, you play a role in different types of genders. So, you know, girls, we get peer pressure for anything. Oh, come to my crib, I got the free, what you trying to do? And then like guys, oh nah bro, yo, come with me, cut classes, go buy a pair of shoes, the new Jordans came out, alright? Like, we gotta make sure we get there early, because, you know, like, it's a line. You know, it's it's somewhat the same, but it's different. And I think now, as this generation keeps getting, older, but with new type of techniques and new, minded women, the guys are playing the female role. And I don't think, society-based, guys don't like that.
Now, that's something important. You said the guys are playing the female role.
Yes.
Expound upon that a little bit for me. Explain what you mean by that.
All right.
Listen.
All right. Here we go. All right. The guys, they feel to realize that, girls can do the same thing a guy could do. And guys get so mad and worked up when a girl plays them, but when they're doing the same thing to a girl, they expect the girl to just cry and fall back like nothing's gonna happen. But then, when another female does that same thing that you just did to an old female, you're gonna get tight. You're gonna get mad for what? But that's what you did 2 weeks ago to that other girl.
So what you're saying is that girls are becoming more like boys with regard to how they play the game or trying to get over,
yes.
or not as, or they're still emotional, but they're able to be maybe detached from the emotions and be a little bit more, I don't care.
Yes, most definitely. I mean, I'm not even gonna lie. I know how to play the game. I have guy friends. I have a lot of guy friends. I grew up with guys anyway. My cousins, all of that. So I already know how this game goes. I already know. I have a very mature mindset on, how I see guys and how, I put them into perspective. All of that. I know to categorize males, and it's really simple. But it's just the fact that they think that girls are still weak-minded. They think they can do whatever. But you gotta give some girl type credit, feel me? You gotta be like, yo, I already know she's a real nice girl. She got her head on straight, They gotta know, to treat a girl right. Just because you want something, just be like that. Yo, this is what I want. That's it. I'm not looking for a relationship. That's it. Girls will respect that more than you trying to play them and have you messing with their mental. You can't be sitting here and talking about something, I want the future with you. Don't be doing that, because yet that still plays into peer pressure. You're pressuring her into making a relationship when that's really not the deal.
So why do you think guys, do that? I want to build a future with you. Why do you think they feed girls these lines? What's the objective?
It's only one objective. They only trying to hit it and quit it. They trying to kill. So, and it's crazy because, when you sit back and think, it's dang, this is what guys really only look for. And you know what? It is. And you can't really blame them because, social media, what's going on TV today, they can't help it. It's what they're seeing, and they, making themselves believe. And sometimes it's just a feeling maybe I don't want all this shit. I just want this right now.
So do you think there's a pressure from society that lends to young ladies wearing clothing that's provocative or representing themselves in videos online with regard to twerking or what other physical movements they feel necessary or attributes they feel to show?
Oh, yes, indeed. Yes. I look at these girls today, I'm like, who let you wear that? Excuse you, if you was my daughter, you get cut. Put on a sweater. You need clothes.
Now, do you think mothers and or fathers, but primarily mothers, do you think they're paying attention to what their daughters are wearing or posting?
You know what? That is another thing. No, I do not feel, because if, a lot of women, mothers come and say, oh, I'm a good parent. Oh, I know what my kid's doing. But do you really know what your kid's doing? Do you really actually check out your kid? Go wake up your kid in the morning and say, oh, what you feel like wearing today? Let me just go and see what's going on. Some of these parents don't really pay attention to their kid, and that's their fault. You get so worked up with work or whatever the case may be, or social life, that you fail to realize what's the really main passion, what's your main focus right now, and that's your kid. You can't be worried about others, because at the end of the day, friends are to carry you, they'll bring you back. So look at your kid, like look at the real ones that's there, like your blood and your family. I mean, I can't really say you're not being a great parent, but that's also having attention to your kid. That's also being a great parent. Like
very much so, very much so. So we've talked about some of the negatives in peer pressures, and of course, unfortunately, they're going to always exist and kind of permeate the fabric of teen life. But with that, there's always a converse. So whereas there's peer pressure that forces you to want to be accepted and maybe represent yourself in a way that doesn't necessarily show the greatest form of integrity or dignity or self-respect. Or you're so eager for excitement, you're running towards something that is going to be a negative situation and could become a worse situation. But the flip side is the opposite. So let's take those same situations, whether it's the fighting, whether it's the cutting class, whether it's wearing provocative clothing to get attention. How can we turn positive peer pressure to avert and challenge some of those things?
You know what? I agree with the positive peer pressure. I do it all the time. I'm not even gonna lie. This pro to peer pressure, I will dominate because I do it all the time. I love peer pressuring kids to do better. My track team, I peer pressure them all the time. I'm like, what are you doing? You gotta run. Come on, like push yourself. Like I'm really good at this, so this is easy. I feel like more teens need to like positively do that, because sometimes these kids need that motivation. They need the motivation, and sometimes you telling them the wrong situations makes them think that's what the right is. You don't know how weak-minded somebody is. You don't know what kind of mind they have, because you're telling them this. You're poisoning them. Like you're putting all of this stuff in their head and making them believe like this is right when it really isn't.
Right. So by the same token, if somebody's weak-minded, you can poison them with your negative food. But if you want to be positive like yourself, then you can also remove those toxins with positive food. So for example, somebody who is a chronic cutter, they cut class, they skip school. How can you what type of peer pressure, or positive peer pressure, can you represent or suggest to avert that behavior?
I'm not really sure.
How about just tell them, is it enough to just tell them to come to school, cutting's not cool? Is it enough to just say that?
It really is.
Is it?
It really is. It's basically, just saying whatever it is to your mind, whatever you feel, just being straightforward, cut it short, boom, that's it. Don't try and go so much about things in another way, trying to do other things, because like the more you do that, it's just like, who are you really fooling? Like you just drawing in more just stuff to just make them push away. Just keep it straightforward like that, and then see where it leads you.
So positive peer pressure, young ladies representing themselves, in a manner that of course will not make young males be positive or come with positive pressure, right? How, what's some suggestions if you had a younger sister, or if you were mentoring some girls who you saw they represent themselves with their clothing or just their vernacular, the way they speak, the way they carry themselves, how would you address them from a perspective that breeds or cultivates positive peer pressure in them?
You know what? I would just simply walk up to them and say, "Are you cold? Like, are you need clothes?" Like, I would, and if they I'll do it very nicely.
Right, because they might. What you mean am I? Because what if you got somebody attitude? What you mean am I cold? Like somebody with an attitude, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to get through to some folks. So would you have a particular? Because you have a strong mind. So it becomes a point of psychology, right?
Right.
You have
to learn to manipulate, yet try and persuade. So I would just be like this, like, "Hey, you need a jacket? No, I need a jacket." No, I was just asking if you need a jacket. Just I got one if you want one. You know what I'm saying? You just trying like,
right, so you go to
weigh it out.
So you go to your friend's house, you're going to a party, and you're in the you look sexy, but you look respectful. But then you go to your girlfriend and you can see, and she has on something that's just
crazy,
out of control. And
right.
she's like, oh no, I'm fleek. I'm, you know, it is what it is. Now you're with her. Now remember, if you're associated with somebody like, well, that's how she's moving.
See, that's my friend. I'm gonna keep it a buck.
Okay.
I'm like, yo, you rolling with me, and people that's rolling with me can't be looking like that. You looking like somebody's about to snatch you up and like take you off somewhere, and you come, bring you right back and give you your money. Like, come on, that's not how you supposed to show yourself. I would just, with my friends, that's a whole other story. Like, I would keep it straightforward, because at the end of the day, you know, would they rather me lie to them and like, you know, put all this, like, feeding them all this crap, or would you rather me just, this is what it is, take that off, that's not cute, you look like a 2-cent stripper right now, take that off right now, that's not cute. Who you trying to attract? Like, that's not what you trying to, you know, provoke. That's not something you want. A lot of these girls don't understand that. Probably some of them do. That's probably what they want, you know, but as a young lady, girls always come crying about, oh, he cheated on me, he's this to me. But look how you dress. Look what you attract. Like, you can't say, oh, how he's treating you this way and that way. But that's, like, your presence, your appearance is just, that's what you're attracting right now. Like, yeah.
So peer pressure is both good and bad, right? So those individuals who are engaging in negative peer pressure, what's one thing you would say to them?
Anybody that's in negative peer pressure, I honestly want to tell you to just be strong-minded, because strong-minded means to just have control of, like, over everything, your mind and your body. Remember, nobody makes you do anything. You're the only one that's going to influence yourself. You choose whether to make positive or negative out of any situation. Only you can control you. Nobody else controls you. And make sure that you surround yourself with motivated people, not demotivated people. Make sure your friends are high class and they're on their A game and they're doing good things. You see a good future for them. So when you see somebody that's doing well in class and that's making straight A's, has scholarships, doing sports, those are the people that you need to hang around. Not the people that's cutting class, wanting to smoke weed, leave school early, you know. Make sure you know who your friends are, because, I mean, look at me. I mean, I would not be doing this show if I was a cut class and hussy dressing. I mean,
you certainly would not.
I would not. And I have a great personality, and I'm an A student. I have like 5 scholarships. I'm doing really good. You guys need to know your friends wisely. Just know who you choose, because your vibe will attract the tribe.
Beautiful, beautiful. So we get out of here.
Alright, I'm Marritina.
It's the Urban Wall Street.
Yep. And this is Teen Talk New York. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
Bye.